Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is part number 2 of What If We Gave Boston, Dorking, Ebbsfleet and York £1 billion. In the last episode we went 25 years into the future and the teams made the Premier League and the Championship. However, no cups were won in those first 25 years, and we're going to go on further. For the first time, we're going to take this save on further, take the experiment on another 25 plus years, and see if these clubs have put in enough infrastructure to go on and become forces in English football. Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is where we left off last time, July 2046, 25 years in the future, and as you see, Ebbsfleet and York both in the Premier League. In the Championship we have Boston and Dorking, Woking also in the Championship as well, even though we've given them no money at all. They have made their way up in the past few years. Promotion last season, second in Sky Bet League 1, meant that they get this season in the Championship. Start off, we're going to go a couple of years into the future, 3 or 4 years into the future. Let's see if we can get all 4 teams as Premier League clubs, and let's see where we can go from there. So we have come back in December of 2049. It's a bit of a weird time to come back, I admit that. We're going to look back at the last couple of years. For some reason, my manager has become the manager of Turkey. I'm not entirely sure why, but doesn't matter, we're not going to go anywhere with that. We'll have a quick look at the Premier League at this point, midway point of this season. York are bottom, Ebbsfleet are there in 12th. Are those the only 2 teams that are in the Premier League? They are. If we go down, Boston are second in the Championship and they're at Dorking in 4th. So since the last time, let's see what has happened. No league winners. If we just look at the stages, go back through the past years, Dorking finished 5th, Boston finished 6th in the previous season. Season before that, Boston were 5th and Dorking was 7th. And I believe was that where we left off, or Dorking finished 3rd in that one there? We should have a quick look at some of the playoffs. Dorking lost on penalties to Huddersfield. Boston lost 2-1 to West Ham. Lost 2-1 to Watford as well. If we just look at the Premier League, going back, York just staved off relegation last season in 17th. Ebbsfleet were in 14th. Ebbsfleet in 8th the season before that. York in 12th. Ebbsfleet in 12th and York in 16th the season before that. So not too bad. The 2 teams in the Premier League have sustained their places, even though York this season are struggling at the midway point. 12 points from 19 games, 3 victories. Not a good run at all. But the teams in the league below Boston are close. You know, they're in that promotion push after 29 games. So at Dorking, any one of those top 6 could go up automatically or drop into the playoffs. It's anyone's ball game. We're going to come back even further into the future. I'm not entirely sure when. We're just going to simulate it through to the point that I decide to come back. It may be mid-season yet again, but we'll have a look at how the clubs are getting on in another 10-15 years. So we're back at the end of December in 2062. So we have gone on 40 years since the start of the game, and interestingly enough, York are without a manager, but they're in the Premier League still. So let's have a look how things are going at the midway point. Sheffield United are top with Arsenal. That is very bizarre. They won the Premier League last year as well. That is so turn up for the book, considering Man City were dominating through the 2040 periods. Let's have a look. Boston United are in the Premier League. They're in 13th. Ebbsfleet are in 17th and York are in 9th without a manager. That is weird. Why is the York manager left? Nelson Abbey is the manager at the minute. Musa Gomes was there for just under a year. He left with a cup win as well. So let's have a quick look. He's gone to Boston United. So Boston got rid of their manager, brought in Musa Gomes from York after they sacked Jason Emberson. Adam Hlozek took over for just under a month. So that is very, very interesting. I did also see that there's been a cup win as well. That was for York. He won the Carabao Cup in 2062. Let's have a quick look at this. Can we go to stages, and we'll go back to... They beat Tottenham on penalties after a 2-2 draw. They went 1-0 up, scored in the 83rd minute, getting an equaliser, Sani getting both goals there, and then they won 4-3 on penalties. Graham, Farouk, Sani and Mateus Henrique getting the penalties, scoring all 4 of them for them. So that seems to me as if it is the first cup win of this save. We'll have a quick check of Ebbsfleet as well. They have won nothing, just a couple of Sky Bet championships, 31,000 their stadium. So look at that for their facilities, all pretty much close to being maxed out. Gavi is the manager as well from Barcelona. That is as interesting, I've got to be honest. We'll go down a division because Dorking are still in the championship. They made up in the 2051-52 season, but they got relegated and they've been a championship team ever since at their 21,000 capacity Mark White Stadium. They have got a manager that I'm not even going to attempt to say. I was going to attempt it. No, I'm not going to bother. So at this point, we have 3 of the teams in the Premier League. Dorking are the only team outside of it. They're in 7th, 3 points off the playoffs in the championship at this present moment in time. 1 cup victory as well for York, the Carabao Cup, beating Spurs in 2062. We're wondering if they can go on further. Their junior coaching is still a little bit off. Every other facility is very good. Reputation is very good as well. But they're in debt. That's interesting. They're in £23 million of debt as it stands. Let's go down to Boston. They are in £43 million of debt. And then to Ebbsfleet, who are £47 million in debt. So where does that leave Dorking? Dorking are £12 million in debt. So that £1 billion within 40 years has all vanished. And now they've got the infrastructure in place, and it's all about now building on what they've set up over the last 40 years. We're going to go further into the future now and see how these clubs get on. It is 2075. We are 54 years into the future, and I wonder if we will have 4 Premier League teams now, as Sheffield United, the whole Sheffield United have been on a bit of dominance over the past few years. 63, 64, 65, 66, 66, 67, 67, 68, 70, 71, 71, 72 and 74, 75 really turning in the performances. As we look for this new season, we have Boston, and only Boston, in the Premier League. Let's have a quick look at them. They've been a mainstay of the Premier League over the last few years. Only £3 million in debt now. Got as high as 6th on a couple of occasions. That's as high as they've got. Had a few skirts with relegation, but that's about it. No trophies either for them. But they're the only team left in the Premier League, and that is a shock, considering we got 3 in there last time of asking. We'll drop down to the Championship now and have a look. Ebbsfleet first up. They have been a yo-yo team of the last few years, up and down constantly. Never really spending a lot of time in the Premier League. They got 3 years between 66 and 69 before finishing bottom and getting relegated. They didn't come straight back up either that season, but then they went up in 70-71, down in 71-72, up in 72-73 and down again in 73-74. So they are a massive yo-yo team now. No other cups for them. Multiple Sky Bet championships. They've turned into the absolute epitome of yo-yo club. 139 million in the bank as well. I'm guessing that's all the parachute payments from going up and down. Next up on the list we have York, and they've done the same, yo-yo team as well. They were established in the Premier League for a good number of years. They got relegated in 66-67, then finished 13th, got promoted to the playoffs in 4th, and then 17th, 19th, 2nd, 20th, 2nd and 19th. So they haven't even won any more Sky Bet championships. Only that one in 2053 and the Carabao Cup in 2062, and it's all been downhill from there. They have 88.9 million as well in the bank, which goes to show that getting relegated is not the end of the world at the minute, because these teams are surviving on the parachute money. So who does that leave? We've seen Boston, we have seen Ebbsfleet, we have seen York, and we are missing Dorking, who have dropped down into Sky Bet League 1. They dropped down in the 2072-73 season. Seems weird saying that out loud. And then they finished 3rd and then 9th. They're predicted to finish 5th in this coming season. 3 million in the bank, but they have fell away massively over the years, down to almost being a mid-table championship team, not even predicted to come in the top 2 of that league to get back up. Very surprising that they have dropped away like that. So we've got Dorking, who have got £3 million. Ebbsfleet and York have got a lot of money from their consistent relegations and promotions, and then you've got Boston up there in the Premier League, only £3 million in debt now. established as a Premier League side, but they are, like I said, they're flirting with relegation, and that could be a worry because we could lose all 4 of these sides from the Premier League before they've done any real damage, and that is really concerning. So we're going to go forward another few years. I'm not, like I said, with this one, I'm not 100% sure. I've not got anything set in motion, but we're going to go forward a few more years. If you look at this before we go, 5-star training facilities, 5-star youth facilities, 5-star youth recruitment, and 3.5-star junior coaching. They should be in a position where they are bringing through absolute wonder kid after wonder kid, but it just doesn't seem to be the case. And if they are, they're not doing enough to be able to sustain them as an upper end Premier League team. So let's go further into the future and let's see if we can establish 4 teams back in the Premier League, or if Boston are going to fall away as well, and we're going to end up after 100 plus years of no teams in the Premier League. So for the final time in part 2 of this episode, we're in 2126, so we are 105 years in the future from where we started. And let's have a look at the Premier League and let's see if any of our clubs are in there. Newcastle are the holders. They've won 4 seasons on the spin, 5 out the last 7. As Man United had a spell of dominance as well just before that. No clubs have won the Premier League. So let's have a look down at how the Premier League looks in 21-26, and we have Boston United back in the Premier League, steady as you like. I say back in the Premier League, these were the team that were in the Premier League. Training facilities have dropped off a little bit, youth facilities as well. Coaching is up, junior coaching is up, and youth recruitment is still 5 stars. £2 million in debt at the Boston United Stadium, which holds 45,832. Got as high as 3rd and 4th, and that's it, as high as they've got. So they've won the Europa Conference League in 2104. They've won 2 Carabao Cups in 2094 and 2103. They have also won the Europa League in 2094, and they won the European Super Cup in 2094 as well. I don't think we'll be able to get back far enough to see we'll be able to get back far enough to see who they beat, but I don't think we'll be able to get back to look at the game properly. Let's just go back, have a look at the final. And let's get back to 2194. Scroll all the way back. And they beat Saint-Étienne in the Europa League final there, 2-0. And if we go down to the Europa Conference League as well, was it the 2104 season, I believe. Liverpool bet Midtjylland in that one. And there we go. They beat Spartak Trnava 3-2, who are a Slovakian team. So 2 European competition victories and a European Super Cup as well. Who did they beat in the European Super Cup? Let's have a look at the stages of that. That was in 2095. They beat Man United on penalties after a 2-2 draw. So they have really, really found their place in this world. Fantastic. We've got a few cup wins, major success, 3 FA Cups as well. I didn't notice them. So they won the FA Cup in 2077, 2105 and 2126. So they won it in this year just gone. We're going to have a quick look. They're the holders. So we're going to drop back and have a look. Who did they beat in the final? They beat Manchester City 2-0 in the final there to win their 3rd FA Cup. And Boston have been a massive success in this experiment. We see also as well Ebbsfleet are in the Premier League. Ebbsfleet close to maxing everything out as well. They got back up in 21-13 season, and they've stayed as a Premier League team ever since. They had a 5th place finish as well in the 21-22-23 season. 9 Sky Bet Championships, 1 Sky Bet League 1. That's all they've done, so no cup victories for them. They're now at the Antonio Matthews Stadium, 43,352 seater stadium there, so they've upgraded once again. We're going to go down. Gillingham are in the Premier League as well, 105 years on. That's the only other noticeable shock that I can see. Everything else is pretty much as you'd expect. And there is York City down at the bottom. 5-star training facilities, 5-star youth facilities, 3.5 junior coaching, 4.5 youth recruitment. They have a Europa League in 21-23 and a Europa Conference League in 21-09, 2 Carabao Cups in 2062 and 21-08. So let's have a look at the Europa League in I think, did I say 2109? As there were some massive bangs outside there. Either someone's laying off fireworks or something dodgy's going on out there. So 2123, sorry. And the Europa Conference League was 2109. So 2123, let's have a quick look at this. Let's go to the final. And they beat Valencia 2-1 in the final there. And if we go down to the Europa Conference League, and we'll move it down to the 2108-2109 season, and they beat FC Porto in that one 2-0. So 2 victories there. We got the Carabao Cup as well, 2108. We're not going to go back to 2062, I don't think. Although I suppose we can go back to 20 if it lets us. 2062. They beat Tottenham on penalties. That's another team that's beaten Tottenham. Actually, we've seen York beat them on penalties. And then the last one was it 2104? I said they lost one there to Chelsea, and Boston beat Man United there in 2102-03. I forgot when the other one was, if I'm completely honest. It was in 2108. Let's go and have a quick look there at that. So they go 2108, 3-1 victory over Sheffield United. And then we're just going to go back, and that means who are we missing? Dorking yet again. They are in the Sky Bet Championship. Any interesting ones in the Sky Bet Championship? Bromley, Telford, Solihull Moors are up there as well. Leicester down in the Championship. Lincoln up in the Championship as well. So let's see what Dorking have done. Have they done anything interesting? They've been a steady Championship. Sorry, finished third in 23-24 season. Sorry, no trophies for them. Their facilities have dropped off a cliff massively. I wonder why that is. Can we see youth categories been removed? Youth facilities upgraded. Youth setup established there. So what happened? Oh, clubs youth setup scrapped. Youth facilities sold. So what happened here? New chairperson took over, and then I am not sure what happened. They just got rid of everything and then relegated from the Premier League in 2104, and then it doesn't seem like they did anything. Sold the club youth facilities in 2109, failed financial fair play. So it's all gone badly wrong for Dorking. The fact that they're still a Championship club is somewhat of a miracle. Dropped down as low as 17th, 19th as well in a season. So they have fell away massively from where we wanted them to be. Liverpool won the Championship in 23-24. Everton have won it recently too. Very odd what has happened here 105 years into the future. Just going to look down the league, see if there's any interesting teams as we move further down the league. West Brom are down in League 1. Kidderminster are up in League 1 as well. Bolton, Coventry, not really moved too far. Forest, who have just been promoted in real life, are down in League 1 as well. Going down into Sky Bet League 2. Birmingham City are in Sky Bet League 2. Blackpool have dropped down there as well. As we go further and further down, nothing else. Bournemouth stands out as one as well. I didn't see Bournemouth there. They're in Sky Bet League 2 as well. And let's just have a quick look at the teams that have won the Vanarama National League. There's no Charlton. That's a big name. Apart from that, there's nothing really that stands out right now. Coventry stand out as well. If we go down to the Vanarama North and just have a look, see if anyone has won it there. No, nothing that... Hull. Wow, they dropped well away, Hull did. So where are they now? They are in the Vanarama National League. I didn't see them, but they really fell off a cliff massively. And we'll just look in the south before we finish as well. Nothing in there that is too surprising. Nothing that really stands out massively. I don't know how much further you want to go down. If we just look down through the past winners of the FA Cup, Boston, they're the latest winners. Man United with a couple, Ipswich winning a couple as well. Down at the Carabao Cup, vast array of winners again. Boston and York in there, as we said earlier. Man City, Brentford beating Ipswich in it as well. Boston runners up there. York were runners up here somewhere yet against Chelsea there. Community Shield, Boston lost when they made the final. I think that's the only one that really matters there. Papa John's, I see you won that. Anyone interesting? Not overly. I mean, West Ham won it. That's somewhat of a story. As we go further down, we're into the under-23s now. There's nothing really interesting I want to see there. I was hoping we could get and see some World Cups before we go off and see who has been winning the World Cups over the last few years. So from 2046, France, England, Argentina, France, Portugal, Germany winning 2, Austria won 1 in 2074, England, Austria, England, Belgium, Uruguay, Turkey, Spain won 3 on the bounce, Belgium, Wales, and then Argentina. So there's been a fair few winners there. Some surprising ones as well. Wales is a surprising one, Turkey is a surprising one, Uruguay, Austria are all surprising winners. If we look at we're going to go through qualification now, haven't we? So if we just go to the European Championships, England are the holders. Spain have won it a couple of times. They've won it 4 times in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the last 6 tournaments. England have won it a few times. France, Poland won it in 2076. Germany did 2 in 64 and 68. Belgium, Austria in 2052 as well. So there's been, like I say, a number of winners. And we'll just have a quick look at the Champions League, see how English clubs have done in that. English clubs have dominated in the last 5 years. Newcastle 4 out of the last 5. Man United getting the other one. Real Madrid with a couple. Newcastle, Man United, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Arsenal, Newcastle again. So there's been English dominance in that one. Into Sheffield United, York obviously won it. Porto, AEK Athens, Milan, Midtjylland, Shakhtar, Benfica, Ipswich winning it. Not as Man City, Sheffield United, not as dominant in the Europa League in the last few years. And then we look at the Conference League. We've got Cracovia in Romania won it in the last season. Atalanta, Leeds, Club Brugge, Molde, Valencia, Sheffield United, Young Boys, Ludogorets, Fenerbahce, Antwerp, Ipswich, Wolfsberger. Is that the Austrian Wolfsberger? It is, yes. York, Leeds, Roma. So a little bit of dominance from the English clubs, but it's a lot more of a mixed bag in the Conference League and in the Europa League as well. So after 105 years ago, we gave £1 billion to 4 Premier League clubs. 4 National League clubs, 2 National League North, 2 National League South in Boston, Dorking, Ebbsfleet and York. And after 105 years, 3 of them remain in the Premier League. Those are Boston, Ebbsfleet and York. A couple of European trophies as well. Only the Europa League and Europa Conference League. No Champions League victories for any of those. And Dorking Wanderers, who I'm not entirely sure what has happened there, but they've sold all of their facilities. I'm guessing trying to make money. They've got 17 million in the bank. They've got secure finances now. That's one thing I will check before we go away, is what the finances looks like at some of these clubs. Boston, a £2 million in the red. Ebbsfleet, a £7 million in profit. And York have 113 million in the bank. So, not sure what happened at Dorking, but something has really gone wrong there, as they had to sell all of their facilities in order to make some money after, I'm guessing it was after the relegation. So, 105 years, goes to show £1 billion is not going to get you everywhere, especially when these teams have had to put in to build the infrastructure up at their current clubs. But at the end of it, we've ended with 3 Premier League teams, 1 Championship team who, as I just said, had to sell all their facilities. So I think this experiment over 2 parts can go down as a massive success. 105 years into the future, 3 Premier League clubs, 1 Championship club. If you've enjoyed what we've done in today's video, please leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you tomorrow for another experiment video, and then next Saturday for another what if video. Thank you, bye.